So with more crews coming into the game, we have these specific words in their descriptions for their officer ability, captain's ability, which is hostiles, non-player, targets, and armadas. That's more PvE crews for us to choose from. But what ideally is the best PvE crew in the game? Well, why don't we try to answer that question? I'm Admiral Pegasus, and this is Star Trek Fleet Command. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, just a couple of things to mention first. Today is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everyone who is a daddy, or a dad, depends how you want to be called by your own kids. Yes, I'm a proud father of 3 kids, and they provided me a new microphone. Yay, for Father's Day. I haven't plugged it into my old laptop yet, but it should work. Anyway, enough of that. But anyway, as you can see behind me, Queen's Gambit Part 5 has also dropped today. So, of course, happy Father's Day to those who are still celebrating Father's Day when this drops. If you view it afterwards, don't worry about that. But anyway, one more thing to also quickly mention as well will be if we quickly just run into the events, go into storylines. There is a trivia. As you can see, I've quickly done it, so I'm just going to quickly give you an answer. The answer to this one, of course, is C. Ensign. This was in regards to the ocean planet, the big ocean that they found, which was artificially created. And because the device at the center of the water world was malfunctioning because the new settlers had been mining oxygen, so the water pressure was increasing. And yeah, you'll have to watch the story. But Tom Paris got reduced to the rank of ensign and spent 30 days in solitary confinement. So, nice and easy. Go out, mine 1 piece of dilithium. Now, just a heads up, I have heard that the Arc Runner is dropping these on a regular basis. So I'm going to guess the next one, at the time of recording, is in 20 hours, 7 minutes. So, but I will say this is what made me think it was going to be a 1 question payout, a 1 question trivia. Payouts are actually pretty good. But again, this is for an Ops 44 or 45. I'm Ops 45, of course, but I don't know if my events are still locked at 44 or they have upgraded to 45. I would hope the latter. But anyway, enough of that. Let's time to talk about PvE crews. Now, I've loaded up my docks. Forgive the ships, it's all over the place. I've been doing missions today. I've loaded up my docks with specific crews. Now, I thought I'd go back to the beginning when I started the game. And what we had is this particular set, which was the original crew, Another Time. And there can be some question or debate about which officer you would probably put on the bridge. This was the set that I used and got along pretty amicably with. But the one thing is, at the beginning of the game, when I started in November 2018, I knew jack about MMOs or how to, crew ships properly. I knew diddly squat. So I'm pleased to say that after a few years in the game, yeah, I've got a better idea. So by all means, there's your setup. Now, for those new ones who come into the game since the release of the next generation, if we fly over to Dry Dock G, where we have the Cavort, we have the next gen crew. Yes, it's the next gen crew, and obviously we're going to put this up. And again, these are pretty much exactly the same as the Another Time crew. They are pretty much a carbon copy. It's literally copy and paste. So again, I would probably say that crew it roughly falls in line with what the other time crew is. And here's your extra 2 officers. It's one short, but yeah, Cadet Scotty don't quite fall into this one. So they are roughly your beginning crews. Now your below decks for both ships are basically going to be, yeah, just make sure your ship stats are as high as they can possibly be. With lower ships, you don't need to worry about too much about abilities because they don't actually come with a specific ability based on attack, defense or health. That gets a bit later in the game. But speaking of later in the game, why don't we jump up to Dock C? Where, not C? Yes, C, sorry. Where we have the first of the bigger crews, which is the Shakedown crews, adding in Chen. Now, this is obviously Pike, Moreau, Chen. This became the staple PvE meta for Ops 25 and 25 to 51, where basically this was the best. Now, your big one on this is Chen, and that is when she's maxed, she does a 30% reduction to red dot energy weapons. So just bear that in mind. Now, this is vastly improved when you add in Pike and Moreau, because they're putting these two together, and I'm not going to lie, the full workings and mechanics, check out Rev Juice and Ultimate DJs. They have videos for them. And basically, with those 2 officers and Chen, you're actually looking at a total reduction in weapons damage, energy weapons damage using Chen by 96%. Pretty much cutting a lot of damage. So yeah, I could send this out on the Kelvin, providing the enemy gets a shot in. Yeah, they're probably pretty much firing very pittance in comparison. But obviously we don't want Pike's officer's ability. We want Pike's officer's ability. Increases effectiveness of all officer abilities that trigger combat by 120%. Now, take off the 80% because the synergy barrier is at 80%. So take it off. It's a 40%. But you are adding that synergy on to actually improve it. So again, increasing Chen's ability by 120%. So it's going from 30% to around about 64% just there. Then obviously you got Monroe with her ability is increasing mitigation stats as well by 70%. Mine's actually a relatively high tier. What tier is she now? Oh, she's maxed at level 18. And from what I've heard, you don't really need to take her above tier 3. And just as an FYI as well, with Pike, tier 1. That's it. You only need Pike at tier 1. Boom. These 2 officers together are fantastic. Chen on the side. Awesome PvE crew. Now, you can also, if we just move Chen over to the captain's chair just for a second, put the group in. You can also have Talon in as well. So just to make you aware of Talon, and the other officer you can have with these 2 is, where the Ferengi, is Kath. The reason for these 2 particular officers is the fact they do the opposite to Chen. They actually do the kinetic weapons. So you got Chen for the energy weapons, Kath or Talon for the kinetic. Now I will just say, Talon is maxed at 20% when she's maxed out. That's what mine is. Obviously, mine's only tier 2, my Kath. RNG is pretty shite. At the minute, she's 15%, but she will top out at 25%. So, pretty good. She'll work better than Talon, in all honesty. But, yeah. So, just bear that in mind. Now, yes, we'll discard that. And then we'll move over to the Enterprise, where we have Picard, Beverly, Talon. Now, Picard and Beverly, in their current configuration, pretty much work the same as Pike and Moreau. But the problem is, Picard is a flipping pain in the ass to source because he knows no direct sourcing in game, with the exception of various events, potentially some packs if you can ever find them, things like that. Yeah, so just watch out for that one. But again, he increases the effectiveness of officers' abilities by 20% in combat. Obviously, take off the synergy. He's only 20%. That's his captain's ability. That's it. Synergy is 100%, so add that on top, and it's now 120%. However, Beverly Crusher, when using her officer ability, is a 200% to mitigation. Times that by the captain's ability of Picard, that jumps up to over 400%. However, you need this. Yes, you will need this. Now, the more of these you can put below deck and actually, you know, max it out, for the Enterprise, it'll be 300%, and then go over that, the better. So, if I literally just did this, the defense crew, and then we just start smashing all the defense in. Oh, hello. Right, that was on another ship. So we'll just put T'Pring in for now. Grush and that. As you can see here, just shy of 84,000 defense stats. Now that's going to... So you think, times in that by 4, 84 times 4 is what? 160, 320, 333... is around about 300. Yeah, I've lost the track. 334,000, give or take. Now, that's bottom because I guarantee that 120% will actually be more. So you'd probably be looking at more like 440%. Yeah, I'm not going to do the maths off the top of my head on that one, but you get the idea. It needs to be defense stats, but as long as attack and health is still at 300%, don't worry about them. But like I said, again, Beverly needs stat stacking below deck. The more you can stack, the better she works. Ultimately, primarily, Pipe Moreau would actually be your better go-to. But like I said, with Talon as well, she's at 20%, 120% on top, so you're looking at around about 42% for that one. But again, with the other abilities and everything, that has a chance to increase massively. So effectively, this can still work as well as Pipe Moreau, Talon Chen, Kath, whichever. It still works effectively, but it comes down to Beverly's stat stacking. So that's that one. Now, speaking of stat stacking, let's jump out of this one, discard that. So get rid of that. So, no, we don't want that one just yet. We want this one. Strange New Worlds Crew. Now, this is primarily for Ops 52 and above when killing red dots, unless you're using specialty ships. More specifically, Franklin A, I forgot its name. Yes, his younger sister, Vidar. The Vidar and the Vidar Talios. And you will be looking at using specific officers here. Now, if we bring the group up and move myself out of the way, when it comes to the Franklin, you'd be using Pike, Pike, Spock, and the third officer you would use. I mean, I scroll through to find her. Just a minute, because this will be like your swarm crew. So we'll put her there for a minute, and we'll put Spock there. This is what I would use as your grinders for swarm. If you do not have Jailer, then that will be fine. Now, the reason we say this is because Spock has to be on an Explorer, which the Franklin is, and the taxi hot interceptors, which is I need to sort my green screen out. Since getting a new chair, I need to get lower my green screen a bit. But anyway, so the swarm are interceptors, so bear that in mind. Now, when it comes to taking on the Borg, well, there's that. Now you can use. Let's just quickly scroll through. I'll bring her through to the ship when we actually find them. You can use this for the Borg, okay? And I will show you another Borg formation as well. But yeah, you can use this. You can also use, again with the Borg, is Pike Moreau Talon, because the Borg are battleships. Obviously, Uhura, oh hello, needs to be on an interceptor, which Vidar and Yatalios are. Going up against the Borg are which are battleships. Now, watch out, because there is a specific pattern. You can use Pike Moreau Chen on all the Borg probes up to level 33. However, level 29, there's a change, and I think it's got something to do with the fact it has a kinetic weapon. So 29, you'll need to switch to Talon or Kath if you've got her. Or if you do have these, just use these. But when it comes to the 36 and higher, I would highly recommend Strange New Worlds crew, in all honesty. And to be perfectly honest with you, that's the crew I use. I go full synergy, because I put 5 of 11 on, and I'm noticing I'm not killing as many, but I'm not taking as much loot. With these, and now I've got the 4th slot, which I forgot to fill in today. In fact, I've only just achieved it today. I can get roughly 1.2 million, give or take, in a nanoprobes from the level 44s. Now, mine is a tier 6 with no weapons, no nothing, which they're going to get done within the next month. And then I might find a change where I can use 5 of 11 with this. So, but I definitely wouldn't recommend putting Jailer up there, because, yeah, just not worth the effort. So, Strange New Worlds for specialty chips. Now, if you're above Ops 4, if you're 42 and above, if you're going to hit hostiles 42 and above, ideally you're going to need a ship with lots of hull health. Yes, because health is a big thing. But you will need these as well. And if you actually look at this one, you put her on. Let's go for the Tribune, okay? Let's say the Tribune, for example. Put them on the Tribune, but you'll need to make sure your attack stats are up. So again, it comes back down to stat stacking. And that's the idea when it comes to these higher level hostiles. When you're looking at Pike Moreau Chen, you don't have to worry about it. Piece of cake, piece of doddle. Not a problem. However, specialty ships and the higher level hostiles, yeah, you're probably not looking at it. Now, there is one exception to the entire PvE rule, and it's the Stellar. Yes, the Stellar itself actually relies on its research. And actually, if we bring the Stellar in, and if I click on that and move myself out of the way, as you can see, the higher that is, the better. Because it doesn't matter who you throw on that, it will still go kill those Eclipse transports, not a problem. I put max cargo on it to increase its cargo from, what's that, 151,000 to 258,000. So I'm gaining around about 106 to 107,000, depending on that decimal place. Once I've done that, that makes the world of difference. Absolutely. So you can literally You can put a single officer on that ship. As long as they're in the captain's chair, it will launch. That's the Stella for you. Yeah. But anyway, next up is another crew. And we need to scroll all the way down here. Now, this has become a bit of a staple since we've been able to source him. And that is Tal. Because of his officer's ability. He has the option, when he has burning, yeah, you're going to need a burning officer. We'll talk about that in just a second. He can strip 5% from its target's hull. Now, here's his opponent. So you can use him in a PvP situation. So, now, mine's only tier 1, level 5. That percentage will increase as he gets higher. So that's more hull health you're ripping off. And this is more ideal against things like the freebooters that really have that massive hull health. And if we can actually find a battle log of Tal in action. So I took a lot of tactical probes on today. Oh, an awful lot of tactical probes. I bet my battle log... Oh, Christ. Didn't want that. Let's get off that. Here we go. Freebooters. So, now, as you can see, I'm using an auger. And you'll notice the captain has changed. And the reason for that is because Ortegas goes up against explorers, which is what that freebooter over there is, on battleships. So she was put on an auger. But if you actually look at that freebooter's hull, look how much is dark, and that is how much hull was stripped off through the fight. So basically, my auger didn't have to fight through so much hull. And if we actually look at it, there you go, he's proccing, and he will need a burning officer such as Giorgio or Nero. The best two that you can actually have. But then for every round he's stripping 5%. So even though you're shooting, 5% is coming off his whole health damage every single round. And it's a straight 5% every time. There's no cumulative damage. It's just 5% of whatever hull's there. So if he's got a 10,000 hull, 5% of that would be what? 500. So a 10,000 point hull will take 5% off. That's 500 points. That's 500 less points you've got to fight through using Tal. Now, freebooters. Also, I know for a fact I haven't got a battle log because it's been a couple of days. But Mantis. Level 49 Mantis with a G4 uncommon ship. Recommended tier 6. I would recommend. You might be able to do it at tier 5 or 4. That's, yeah. You'd have to test it out and see what it is. But that is the power of Tal. This is the crew that I will use against the Mantis, against the Actian interceptors. For heaven's sake, do not try and smack an explorer. Don't try. I tried that. I actually got absolutely wiped out. But for some reason, the interceptors I took out without a problem. I might be wrong. I might have done something wrong at the time. So now I know what you're all shouting. But what about Hugh? Yes, Hugh, big one. Hugh, no matter what I do, is always on ship A, because this is my primary PvE ship. I use the other docks for things like armadas and mining, PvP, and whatever missions, whatever else I need. But this is my primary PvE boat or dock. So Hugh, he gets to stay here, and Hugh increases my chance of critical hits by 25%. For 2 rounds. So that goes down handily, especially against things like the freebooters and the Actian hostiles and the traders and the Jem'Hadar and pretty much any target. Any target. However, It's reliant on the number of shots each weapon fires. The more shots that weapon fires, the more chance he will proc. He starts off at 45%. Yeah, starts off there, but ends up, yeah, could be ending up as high as 91% chance of actually increasing critical chance by 25%. So there it is. So now, are there any other crews you could use? Well, effectively, yes, but they're not as good, not as efficient. Most notably, we're having the release of the new Voyager crew. And if we have a quick look at Janeway, which I've yet to unlock, I don't think I'm going to get unlocked. But Captain's ability, non-player hostile or Armada. That's what you're looking for. So she's increasing my shield mitigation by 6% for 1 round, and it's going to stack. So it's 6%, 12%, 18%, 24%. It goes on. So that's going to be an interesting one. Can't wait to see Rev Juice give the video when he drops it. I think Lube's already dropped a video on it. So he's another one who's upcoming. He's the one of the 2 creators of the Obstacle. He's now streaming on Twitch, and is also putting videos on YouTube, which are from his Twitch stream. I would recommend checking his Armada one out. That was very interesting, and it got some cogs ticking, moving. I'll tell you that much. But it's a video for a later date from me on that one. But here's her officer ability. Increasing isolytic damage, because isolytic damage now is a new form of damage that's come in. Again, we went over this during the last live stream, but I will do a separate video for it as well. So we actually worked it out on stream, so I've got the fundamentals down. Yes, so a video coming up as soon as I get 5 minutes to actually record it. I've still got to write out the script for it. But speaking of so that's Janeway, and then obviously adding with her the likes of Tom Paris, who's too stubborn to die, increasing when you take damage, increasing critical hit damage by 5% for 1 round, stacking. Sorry, I can't pronounce cumulative. I think that's how you pronounce it. I really struggle with that word. I really do. There's some words I really struggle with. But increases that by 5%. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20. You get the idea. Harry Kim. Are We Friends? Increasing reputation gains by 7%. As I showed off in the live stream, that's basically another Galanar. So now you'll notice I've not touched on their below deck ability. There is a reason why. You don't need the below deck ability if you are looking at synergy. Yes, synergy. How they were going to stack up synergy wise, I do not know. But we also have Bolona Torres as well. Increasing your piercing stats by 250% for 1 round. Again, stacking 250, 500, 750, 1000. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. But again, these are not going to be much cop though at 1 level. And that's the bit you've also got to remember. Out of the box, not very good. They do need to be leveled up. Now, what Janeway's going to come out of the box like, I don't know. She could be like a Pike or a Picard or what's the other one? There's a couple. There are a couple who are pretty good straight out the box. Pretty good. Others, you need to sort of like, you need to build them up. Cisco's a good one. Miles O'Brien's another good one who's good out of the box. Strike Team Epics. They really need full synergy to be absolutely awesome. But, yeah. So, that's it. So, sorry, I just had to edit out a yawn there because I tried to hold it back and it didn't work. But anyway. So that is PvE. If just look for the word that says hostile. Opponents can also work, but again, you're looking at. Now, I'm not going to mention bringing the assimilate one because it's a below deck ability, and it is a PvP PvP ability, and that's just against solo maps. We don't need to worry about that. So we don't need to worry about the assimilate ability. Hull breach can also be a good one. Morale can be good, and so can burning. So the likes of when you're using PvP, put in the likes of Bologna, Harry, whoever's going to do burning below deck will be fundamental. And yeah, so it could be like you could have Tom Paris and Janeway on the bridge, and whoever comes next month. I think it's good. I don't know for sure. I think Chakotay is coming, but say Chakotay, them on the bridge, and then Bologna, Harry, and Lord and behold, are they really going to pull a joke on this one with Neelix being the burning? Are they going to pull the trick with Neelix being burning because he's the chef? He's the cook. He's burning his food. So he's burning ships. Can we see that joke coming? But anyway, we thought morale was going to be the joke. Maybe it's to do with his cooking. But anyway, yeah. So put them below deck. Make sure them below deck are actually up about tier 4 before you use them. And then you've got like your hull breach and your burning and your morale all on the same ship. All activating. Jobs are good. But anyway, that's it. I can't think of other officers that to really chuck. Actually, yeah. Where is he? There is one other officer. I think he's level 30 now. Oh no, maybe he's not level 30. But Decius. If I can just find Decius. I'm sure I've got my Decius maxed. Here's Merrick. O'Brien. I mean, there's a rare. Oh, there he is. Can't fucking see it. He is. But anyway, every time your ship gets hit by a weapon, Decius increases weapon damage by 10%. Now, you can use this as a PvE ability, but again, it's going to have to go with whoever you put him on the bridge with. And yeah, it's not going to be as good. Officer ability increases your piercing stats by 10% when fighting a ship with a bigger strength. So basically, this is hitting up. Now there is the punch up crew. And let's just jump out of here. And there he is. There's Picard. So let's go into here. So we need to put him there. Now there is one officer. There he is, Khan. And oh, Harry. Here we go. So that's your punch up crew. But again, stat stack. But not this time. You need to also think about Beverly's captain's ability. Yes, a captain's ability. When fighting hostiles and armadas, Beverly restores the shield health each round equal to 200% the health of your ship. So not only do you need the defense stat for Beverly, you are also going to need the health stat. Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, if you're going to use 5 of 11, officer's ability, captain's ability needs health stats. So when you are using them, make sure you got that 300% by all means. But then any additional stats, make sure they are health stats, and it will work. Now a Borg crew for fighting Borg, if you really want one, is that one. That will be your ideal Borg crew. Now you can mix around, and I'm sure some of you are going to say, well, maybe not that one, not that one. If there are any crews you can think of, drop them down there. Yeah, put them in the comments. teach me what other crews there is. I mean, I get crews thrown out in live streams no end of times. I've got one on here. Pike this is the Strange New Worlds set, by the way. Pike Una Chen. That's an interesting one. So I don't know how effective it is. I've not actually tested it yet. I keep forgetting to test it, but that could be another one. And it was suggested during the last live stream. I think it was Not So Chocolate who suggested it. So there are ideas. Also, if you want to drop the ideas as well in the Discord, in the crew loadouts, just tag it PvE idea. There you go. So give you another idea for crew. But anyway, Discord link is also in the description below. Also, don't forget links for the channel donations, Cashapp or PayPal. All donations are greatly appreciated and are going towards the computer fund as well. So that's it. I'll leave you with the board crew. Not much else I can say really. That's PvE. Hope it's helped you and give you some ideas. But like I said, it does come down to what you want to do in the game, where you're fighting, what you're fighting. Maybe you could find out a crew that some of us old gamers that have been in this game since day one haven't even sussed out yet. Who knows? Time for me to run. Stay safe, live long and prosper, and I shall most catch you on Tuesday for the live stream. Yes. See you then. Bye bye.